floater, center field. The Diamondbacks are world champions.
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Jose Bouquet, and of course, as always, joined by the Kurt Schilling to my Randy Johnson. It is Andrew Santangelo. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing very good. I love how you open with that two players from that team. I like that, finding that duo.
Well, as long as the duos keep coming, I've been getting lucky recently. There's a lot of games with duos. You know,
I'm sure you'll find one no matter what game it is.
We'll see. We'll see. You know, who knows? Who knows what I'll be? We'll do next week. But welcome back, everyone, to another edition of the Pub Sports Radio Baseball Show. My name's Jose Bouquet, and that's Andrew Santangelo. It feels like it's been a while since we've done a show, to be honest, Andrew. But today, of course, we're going to talk about the 2001 World Series, specifically Game 7 of that World Series, where the Arizona Diamondbacks beat the conquering New York Yankees in a very, very classic World Series game and on a walk-off. This was kind of, we were both born in 97, so we were still wee babes when this game happened. So it was fun to watch. Andrew, what were your biggest takeaways coming out of this game?
I think the resilience by this young Arizona Diamondbacks team. You talk about us being born in 97. Diamondbacks' first year was 98. So their fourth season in the league, and they go up against this powerhouse. And the Yankees has been an establishment in the league trying to get their fourth World Series. So I'd say the resilience by this Arizona team not to back down, even though they're going against obviously one of the toughest teams in the MLB. And they definitely had the right group for it. A lot of veterans on the team that they kind of built through the expansion, the way they did the expansion back then. And I think they really took advantage. But from this game, I just thought, never the resilience to fight there, especially against going. I mean, we'll get into it later, but the Yankees bring in Rivera, one of the best closers, if not the best closer of all time, especially in the postseason, and they just never backed down from any fight that was in the way.
Yeah, it was pretty impeccable, especially because going in, I like not going into these blind, I guess, and then doing all my research and realizing like, oh shit, this is the middle of the Yankees' dominance. This is their trying to go for their fourth title in a row, and when you go look back at the other three titles, none of them were particularly close. I believe one team won one game in those three World Series before, and it was the Mets. And I was like, damn, this is crazy. So, yeah, this is a really fun game, especially the pitching matchup that headlines this game. Kurt Schilling, who I think is the best big game pitcher in baseball history, versus Roger Clemens, arguably top 5 pitcher all time, steroids or whatever. But, we're not going to talk about that.
Well, and then the other thing would be for this the whole series in general, not just Game 7, but the Diamondbacks pitching staff. I mean, even with all those names on the Yankees offense there, you got Jeter, Bernie Williams, Jorge Posada, all those guys, and they were able to hold them to no more than 4 runs in any of the 7 games. And the game the Yankees scored 4 runs was a 10-inning game. But besides that, I mean, you hold them to 1, 0, 2, 2, or 3, and then 2. So, I mean, just the Diamondbacks pitching staff. I know they got Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling, but even the bullpen there by the Diamondbacks was able to step up.
Except for one man, who we'll talk about when we break down the previous games going up to Game 7. But one man gave the Yankees life in this series, and it's crazy that the Yankees were in this series. You mentioned it; the Diamondbacks pitching staff was dominant, but the Yankees always managed to squeak out these one-run wins in Yankee Stadium, especially when you have, like you said, the best closer in baseball ever in Rivera. You're pretty much usually assured a win when you have the lead late.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right. Well, let's talk about the games leading up to Game 7. So Game 1, Schilling goes to start the game for the Diamondbacks. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 8 Ks, and a 9-1 Diamondbacks victory. Craig Counsell Shout out to him. The now manager of the Milwaukee Brewers was the NLCS MVP last series, and he got a home run this game. Mike Mussina got the loss. Game 2, another kind of dominant performance by the Diamondbacks, 4-0. Randy Johnson goes 9, 3 hits, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. Andrew, would you say that's good?
Maybe. I mean, maybe. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that's why he's one of the best, if not the best pitcher in the game.
Complete game shutout. Andy Pettit goes up against Johnson. He was the ALCS MVP. Can't get it done. Kind of tough to go up against Johnson there. But things start to change when we go to New York. This was prime New York's Yankee Stadium. It was loud. People don't go in there and win very easily at this point. The Yankees win game 3, 2-1. Clemens, who we'll talk about later, comes in 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 9 Ks on 3 walks, and then Rivera goes and puts a bow on the game with 2 innings, 4 Ks and a save. Did not allow a hit in his 2 innings. That's Rivera as a 2-inning guy. You forget that he could do that, and that's just terrifying.
Yeah, in this game he gets 4 strikeouts out of 6 batters. Like it's unbelievable what he was able to do, and I think that's something you don't really see in today's game anymore. I mean, yeah, we talked about Andrew Miller a few times ago, but I mean, besides that, these managers try to stretch these closers out to 2 innings. But that's a lot of times that's when they start to really get shaky, and I think you're really going to start seeing less of that each year. So I think what Rivera was able to do is something definitely that's special and needs to be remembered in the game.
For sure. So they win that, squeak by 2-1. And then game 4 is more of the same. Yankees win 4-3, final in 10 innings. Ties the series. Schilling, more of the same on his end. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 9 Ks. Orlando Cabrera matches him, though. The Yankees starter with 6 innings pitched, 4 hits.
Orlando Hernandez.
Hernandez. Why did I write Cabrera? Wow, that's weird. But 5 Ks to his name. Byung-Hyun Kim blows it for the Diamondbacks. Gives up. This is the Jeter walk-off game. Jeter hits his walk-off. Goes down in Yankee Stadium history. Blah 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 blah. Byung-Hyun Kim blows it. Rivera gets the win.
Which I don't want to get too much into this game, but I mean, I didn't really. I went back and looked at a few things. I didn't watch the whole game, but like, what were they doing taking Curt Schilling out after 88 pitches?
Who knows? Bob Brentley. I'm gonna call him Bob Bentley. By the way, Bob Bentley makes some questionable decisions, but they all ended up working out in Game 7. But I don't know how good of a manager he actually is. But yeah, so like I said, Derek Jeter walk-off home run with 2 outs in Yankee Stadium gives them the tie series at 2. And more, guess what, Andrew? More Yankee Stadium magic. Yankees win Game 5, 3-2, final in 12. Another blown save by Kim, the second. The D-backs scored 2 in the bottom of the 5th, or top of the 5th, sorry. And then the Yankees scored 2 in the bottom of the 9th, tie it. Posada doubles after Kim gets on. And then with 2 outs, Scott Brosius hits a home run off of Kim to give them the tie in the 9th inning. That's really tough for Kim. His postseason, not one to remember.
Yeah, two very tough games back to back, and then another 2 innings from Rivera in this game.
Of course, yeah, he's a machine. Alfonso Soriano gets the game-winning hit in the 12th inning there. I don't believe it was a home run, was it? I think it was hit off the wall. They showed it, and I could really not even tell. I couldn't tell where the ball was.
Yeah, it was off the wall, I think. And since it was the winning run, he didn't even get extra bases. I think they mark it down as a single. It was off the wall, and then the run scored before he got the signal.
All right, so Alfonso gets the RBI. Rookie Alfonso Soriano, by the way. This is a rookie.
Nailed that.
Yeah, rookie Alfonso Soriano gets the game-winning hit right there. Reminds me of another rookie who was pretty good in the World Series this year. Which leads us to Game 6. The Yankees are up 3-2. The fresh Diamondbacks, backs against the wall. They turn to one man. They can only do so, and that's Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson goes 6 hits, 2 earned, 7 Ks. And the Diamondbacks dominating 15-2 win. Andy Pettitte shits the bed, as I wrote in my notes. 2 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, which gives us a tie series. And here we are at Game 7.
And the fun part about that is the reliever came in and did worse than Pettit did. He gave up, he gave up the rest of the runs. So he gave up 9 runs in like 2 innings.
Yeah, really tough there for the ALCS MVP Andy Pettitte and the bullpen for the Yankees. This was kind of disappointing to see, especially because they just have like Rivera. I guess it was just Rivera and a bunch of nobodies then.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's why I had Rivera going 2 innings at a time because that's all they could turn to.
I know, right? So here are some stats I wrote down after getting up into this. This is Randy Johnson's 2001. 21-6, a 2.76 ERA, best in the league. 372 strikeouts, best in the league. Curt Schilling in 2001. This is his first full year on the Diamondbacks after your Phillies traded him. 22-6. Yeah, you're welcome. No problem. 22-6, most wins in baseball. A 2.98 ERA, 6 complete games. That's the best in baseball, and 293 Ks. That is astounding to have that as your first 2 starters in any series.
It's incredible, and that's not even counting his postseason stats, which were even more phenomenal than his regular season stats.
Oh yeah, no. Like I said, I think Curt Schilling's the best big game pitcher in all of baseball history. He gets put in these big games all the time. We know he delivers. This is one of the most notable ones. This is probably the second biggest of his career, which is crazy because it's a Game 7 of a World Series. But I think I'll put the bloody sock as his number 1 game. But these in this year by both of these guys. And them just kind of putting this team on their backs in this series was phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So now we're at Game 7. So this is 2001. So this is the 9/11 Yankees, as I call them. Everyone and their mothers must be rooting for the Yankees at this point. They had, I forgot his last name, but he's like Jesse McGuire or something like that. Did the trumpet national anthem. Everyone's pumped, excited. And we get Curt Schilling versus Roger Clemens in Game 7. Off the top of your head, could you imagine a better pitching matchup for this game?
Absolutely not. I mean, this is top of, like, this is your tier 1 best pitcher probably in the NL, or one of the. I mean, because he's Randy Johnson, so it's tough to say who's better than Johnson. But you got the tier 1 pitcher on the NL and the tier 1 pitcher in the NL. I mean, even if you take the best pitcher in today's game, I don't know if you beat that.
No, the Kershaw, Max Scherzer, no, something like that.
No, exactly.
Cole Kershaw, no, man. I'll take this. So here's some fun facts about Curt Schilling. We mentioned his postseason stats: 4-0, a .88 ERA, 5 starts, 3 complete games, 47 Ks, and 6 walks. .88. That's disgusting. You can't, what are you supposed to do with that?
Oh, there's nothing you can do about it.
And guess what, Andrew? He guaranteed a win in Game 7 after they won in Game 6.
He did. Did you stick around for his post-game conference after?
For his on the field?
Yeah.
I think I watched it. Yes, well, I did indeed watch it. I thought it was kind of weird that the reporter asked him a weird question, but yeah.
I was just laughing because she was asking him, like, "Oh, what'd you think after guaranteeing that win or whatever?" And his response was like, "I didn't say how we would win. I just said we would win." So I was right.
Yeah, proud of Curt right there. So some storylines in this game. This is Paul O'Neill's last game for the Yankees. We might as well do some Yankees talk. Paul O'Neill, last game for the Yankees. He was on the Yankees since 1993, so he was a stalwart in a very many amount of World Series championships. In his first at bat, he doubles, but he gets thrown out at third to start off the game, which is pretty tough especially after the announcers hype you up about your last game and all this stuff.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, he's obviously a big time player for them, and tough to see him. I mean, for Yankees fans, tough to see him go out like that, and then I know, get into the game a little bit, but then they take him out early. So, I mean, it's a tough way to end his run there with the Yankees.
I know, right? Funny stat, or just a stat, I guess, to keep pumping the Diamondbacks tires. I guess he was really trying to get to third. O'Neill was, because the Yankees hadn't had a guy on third with less than 2 outs in 54 innings against the Diamondbacks, apparently. And I was like, oh my God, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up as well. I had that marked in the fifth inning. They brought that up because it was right after a foul ball, and I forget who it was. Goes down 0-2 in the count, and I mean, it just looked like another bad inning for the Yankees in the fifth. And the announcer that's what he says. He just goes, one of the big issue has been not being able to take advantage of any easy runs because they haven't had the runner on third. So he's bringing up the point. They can't get any cheap sac flies or ground outs or anything like that because they don't get anyone on third with less than 2 outs.
Yeah, like what are you supposed to do about that? Like, holy cow, that's crazy. So the Yankees go down quietly in the first inning. Coming up to the plate for the Diamondbacks was a series of guys that I have never heard of, to be honest. I hadn't heard of almost a good amount of these Diamondbacks. One, because I'm just naive, I guess, and ignorant. And two, because there's not really a star player on this team. Luis Gonzalez wasn't even that big of a star. I guess this game is the one that really cements him into being a star for the Diamondbacks. But I thought that was really interesting. And also, they had 22 hits in Game 6 of the World Series, and that's a record. So there's your fun fact of the day there. So Clemens, as we said, just as dominant as Schilling. 22. His postseason stats: 1-1, a 2.66 ERA in 4 starts, 20 innings, 22 Ks. And his career World Series record was 3-0 with a 1.59 ERA. So these are just more stats to keep smashing you on the head that this is an incredible pitching matchup, probably the best pitching matchup in World Series history given the game and stakes. So we start off. Tony Womack gets out with a fly out. Craig Counsell gets on with an E3, kind of an awkward play. Luis Gonzalez has a good at bat, but strikes or grounds out on a splitter. By the way, I also wrote down that Clemens was limited throughout this whole postseason run with a tight hamstring, and he looked healthy as hell to me because he strikes out Matt Williams and ends the first inning for the Diamondbacks, and both teams go down 0-0.
Hey, real quick, I was laughing at that the whole time because the amount of times they said he was dealing with that hamstring, but they always ended it with, but he doesn't look to be bothering him today as he continues the deal. I was like, how many times do you want to mention that?
Healthy as hell. Never looked healthier before in his life.
But
very uneventful first inning.
And the second inning didn't really change too much. Top half of the second, Curt Schilling goes 1-2-3, mows down the Yankees. Tino Martinez strikes out. Jorge Posada hits a fly ball to left, and then Shane Spencer flies out the center to end the inning. So 6 up, 6 down to start the game for Curt Schilling.
Tino Martinez had no absolute chance in his at bat. I wrote 3 straight splitters. It just looked disgusting. Also, in the second inning is when we first get the Emmy Awards updates during the game, Andrew. Why is that not a thing anymore? Why don't we get like award-winning updates and shit like that during our games now, Andrew? I miss that. I want that back.
I was gonna say, do you want that back? I would rather just watch the game and enjoy it.
I want it, Andrew. I need it because I'm gonna have my own Emmy Award updates throughout this podcast. I have fun with that when they come. Okay,
sounds good. Bottom of the second inning, a little late run here. Steve Finley grounds out to short to start the inning on 2 pitches. Danny Bautista draws a 6-pitch walk though to get on base, and then it's followed by a single by Mark Grace. So the first runner in scoring position by either team here. First and second, 1 out, but Roger Clemens returns to Clemens' form as he strikes out the next two batters, and Damian Miller and Kurt Schilling. So, and again, another. I mean, he got hit in a walk there, but basically another uneventful inning there to start the game.
Some notes I wrote down about this inning: a lot of close face shots of both pitchers. A lot of really tight with their gloves in their face, just seeing their eyes shots this game.
And not only that, they also love the center field camera and love to zoom in on the inside the glove, trying to pick up which pitch they were throwing. I also noted that.
We love it. We love it.
It got to the point where it was like the sixth inning, and I felt like every pitch, or like in between every pitch, we were looking at the inside of their glove.
Wait, that's the shot. That's the camera angles we need, Andrew. Those are the angles we need. Those are the Astros angles, as I call them now. I also wrote down that Grace, I think his first name is Mark Grace.
Correct.
Oldest looking man out there, and it was hilarious. I wrote down, what is this old man doing on this field? And immediately gets a single, an awkward single on a hit and run. And I was like, wow, okay, never mind. I'll shut up now. So as we move on to the third inning, Alfonso Soriano fly out, Scott Brocious fly out, and Kurt Schilling returns the favor of Roger Clemens striking him out as himself. I wrote down that I just pictured these two pitchers as they're being ultra competitive. Like Schilling strikes out, and Clemens is like, "Yeah, fuck you," and then Schilling comes back out, strikes him out. And he's like, "No, fuck you," and then just go back and forth. And I got a good enjoyment out of that.
Well, I was thinking about how unfair that is for like the opposing pitcher. Like at least when Kurt Schilling is facing Roger Clemens, he went all year like hitting at least. But like Roger Clemens, outside probably back then they did, I mean, extremely few amount of interleague play games, and so I mean, who knows how many at bats Clemens would have had. But like think about Roger Clemens, who might have had like 3 or 4 plate appearances all season, gets thrown in there against Kurt Schilling.
Yeah, it was great. It just continues to prove my argument that we should have the universal DH. So.
No, it should be all no DH.
So in the third inning, Tony Womack strikes out. Luis Gonzalez strikes out. We get a single from good old Matty Williams. But as you said, oh no, Craig Counsell got a hit too. Shit, I put these things out of order. Craig Counsell and Williams both gets hits, but Steve Finley strikes out. Clemens looks vulnerable, looks human, but as always, pitching out of these jams, getting the Yankees out.
He always found a way to get out of those jams.
Yeah, it's like he's good at pitching or something.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit. But into the fourth inning, where Kurt Schilling was still perfect to that point, it goes another perfect inning, retiring 3 straight. This time, Derek Jeter with a fly out to right, Paul O'Neill striking out, swinging, and then Bernie Williams got him looking. Completely fooled Williams on that pitch, and I don't know if you noticed, but I also wrote down. I forget his name, who it was. I think it might have been Steve Ripley. Might have been behind the plate there in that game, but I thought he had a very generous strike zone overall. A lot of outside pitches I thought were called strikes.
Oh yeah, the reverse angle, like the high angle of the plate. Some of those pitches were not even close. Not even remotely close. I was laughing. It's not even fair. If Roger Clemens, he's already this good, and Schilling, and you're going to expand the zone? Ugh.
That's why I was dying at that, because like you could tell how frustrated some of those hitters were getting. And I can't remember who – I'm blanking on maybe who the color commentator was for the game. But at one point he goes – I forget which outside pitch it was, but it was like clearly off the plate. It might have seemed like it got the corner or something, like watching it live. So he started saying like how – it looked like it nipped the corner of the plate, and then they were showing the replay of the reverse angle, and it was way off. And like it paused for a second, and then it's like, according to Steve Ripley, at least.
Yes, they did that twice. Joe Buck did the same thing too, and the same exact pitch basically. And he was like, "Yep, according to Steve Ripley, that was a strike." This fourth inning also gave us the trivia. Did you happen to catch it, Andrew?
Well, I told you, whenever they start to bring it up, I'm skipping over it so you can surprise me with it.
Well, the trivia question this week was, who was the last NL pitcher to throw a complete game in Game 7 of the World Series?
Oh, yikes. Last NL pitcher to throw a complete game in the World Series?
Yes, in Game 7 of the World Series specifically. Yeah, you're not going to get this, so I'll say
Yeah,
you.
I was just gonna say I have no idea. No point of wasting our listeners' time.
Yeah, it's Steve Blass of the Pirates, seemingly. Also, I don't believe they gave out the actual answer on the show or on the broadcast. So I definitely just looked it up just now. So there's that too.
All right. Well, thanks for the information. I think I'm 1 for 3 now on these trivia questions.
Good. So after the 2-2 fastball to, I believe, I don't remember who the last at bat of this inning was. Is O'Neill or Williams?
It was Williams.
It was okay. So they after the 2-2 pitch, the announcers go silent for the rest of the inning. They just kind of let the crowd take over, and I feel like we mark those moments in this podcast. So there you go.
Absolutely. And I know we get into it later, but I thought the crowd was tremendous.
And you do need to rank their crowd performance. Yes. All right. Continue with the fourth inning, Andrew.
All right, we go to the bottom of the fourth. Starts off Danny Bautista fly ball to center field. So first batter gets out on another two pitch at bats. So quick performance there, and then Mark Grace gets a single to left field. And again, another inning where the Diamondbacks get a hit, but then after that, Roger Clemens returns to dominance again. This time striking out Damian Miller and Kurt Schilling once again. So 2 appearances for both of those hitters and 2 strikeouts to end the inning with runners on base.
That would be Roger Clemens' 8th strikeout in the 4th inning, too. So let's go ahead and the K counters are active, Andrew.
For both pitchers.
For both pitchers. 5th inning, we've got a Tino Martinez fly out to center field. It was a good at bat, I wrote down, but ultimately Schilling won. Posada K, and of course, our annual fuck at bat of the game by my man Spencer, whose first name I can't remember at the moment. Flies out to the second baseman, drops a fuck bomb right as he hits it, runs to first. At to this point, they showed the pitcher stats. Both pitchers, 4 innings pitched. Schilling 1 hit, 5 Ks. Clemens 4 hits, 8 Ks. 48 pitches for Schilling and 75 to Clemens at this point. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, and going off your point, that it's Shane Spencer.
Shane Spencer. There we go. I thought I was going to call him Sean Spencer, but good. Thank you. This is the inning. Also, I learned that Jerry Colangelo owns the Diamondbacks at this point, I guess. Your man, Jerry.
We don't have to say my man, but I did not know that either until watching this game.
Your man, Jerry Colangelo. A lot of shots of him in the crowd. Expansion Diamondbacks, if you guys don't know, like we said. This is their 4th year of being a team, and they were going to break a record that we'll talk about later. But Jerry Colangelo's 4th year as the Diamondbacks owner, and he gets them a World Series. So shout out to him. I think he does great things in the future, right, Andrew?
Well, it depends who you ask, but
I'm asking you.
Definitely not with the Sixers. But I mean, if you would,
he was at the Sixers. Wait, no way. I thought he was a baseball guy.
He should have stuck with baseball. How about that?
That's probably true. This inning, I also wrote down umpire zone wide, capital letters. So we're on the same page there. 5th inning, Tony Womack, 4-3 first out. I also wrote down Roger Clemens is 39 at this point, still pitching incredibly. So age is just a number. Craig Counsell, 6-3. A really nice play by Derek Jeter. Young, athletic Derek Jeter. I just wrote Jeter being Jeter there too. An E4 by Luis Gonzalez, or gets Luis Gonzalez off, and then you get a 3rd out by fielder's choice. Go ahead, Andrew.
Which real quick, yeah. I mean that ground ball that Jeter got against Counselor, yeah, that was a great play. But I mean, I'm sure you heard the announcers mention everything, but it did seem like Jeter tweaked something there, and kind of it did. I don't know if it affected him too much throughout the game, but I mean, you could definitely see him grimacing at certain points of that game.
Yeah, he was limping. You could see running around the bases throughout the game after this. He was limping. They didn't really say. I didn't really go search and look what this injury was because I didn't think it was that big of a deal. He didn't really seem that hampered, but it was a knee, ankle, hamstring kind of thing. But 0-0. Pitchers are dominating still.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. And to this point, into the 6th inning, I mean, yeah, Kurt Schilling gave up that early first inning double, I think it was, but since they got thrown out or whatever, I mean, he's faced a minimum to this point in the sixth inning. And again, another easy inning for Kurt Schilling, striking out Alfonso Soriano, who looked very bad that at bat. I wrote down. Chased a very outside pitch there for strike three, and then gets next guy to strike out swinging, and then Roger Clemens actually made contact this time, but flew out to right field for a very uneventful top of the sixth once again.
Yeah, Scott Brocious was Clemens' eighth K. Schilling's eighth K of the game. Also, Andrew, I'd like to let you know that David Letterman won the Variety Music and Comedy Series Emmy at this point as well.
I appreciate that. I will definitely note that.
This is also the part of the broadcast where they start mentioning the Yankees' history. So, like we said earlier as well, this was the Yankees going for 4 straight titles. They won in 1998, a 4-0 sweep of the Padres, with Scott Brocious, of all people, winning the MVP. In 1999, they won 4-0 against the Braves. Rivera won the MVP there. And then in 2000, they won 4-1 against the Mets. Jeter won MVP, and you might remember this series with Mike Piazza breaking his bat and Roger Clemens chunking it at him and all that stuff.
Yeah, fun. Nice little rivalry there.
Yeah, so this was just kind of my sage setting, I guess, at this point. We're in the 6th inning. It's 0-0 still. And the young upstart, like you said, Diamondbacks, the expansion team are playing the Evil Empire, the Evil Empire. They are the Evil Empire at this point. This is the big bad Yankees that everyone's scared of, with everyone in their prime. Shit proceeds to hit the fan coming up now.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm someone who likes pitching duels, so I enjoyed this game very much. But if you thought the beginning of this game was boring because of the 0-0 score or whatever, this is where things really started to change. Roger Clemens again gives up a couple hits in this inning. This leadoff single by Steve Finley, who has speed there, which we'll about to get into. As Danny Batista stepped up next and ripped a double into the gap, which gave the Diamondbacks the first run of the game, and it's called by Joe Buck.
Batista delivers again, going for third. But it's 1-0 Arizona.
As you heard, our man Joe Buck saying, Danny Batista smokes it into that gap. Does get thrown out going to third. Incredible slide too. Incredible slide.
I actually wrote that down. That slide was fantastic. I don't know about you, but I went back and watched that replay. I don't know how many times, but I honestly think he was safe at third.
Really? I didn't really look. I just kind of took the umpire's word for it. I thought he was out at first glance, though.
Yeah, live it looks like he's out, but I went back and slowed it down. And if they would have been replaying this in this game, and it looks like the ball definitely beats in the third, but I think he gets that hand in before the tag.
I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you because it's an anti-Yankees take, so we'll take it. He was safe over there. Bad call. This is the first time either team had their leadoff man aboard, and thankfully for the Diamondbacks, they were able to convert. Jeter's throw here to get Tony Womack, especially on his hurt leg, incredible. I was incredible. That was like, damn. This is the Derek Jeter that everyone hypes up as the best shortstop of all time and whatnot. I was like, well, all right, that was incredible right there.
Hey, the way he jumped in there to get that relay throw, right when he lands, he just fires at the third. You couldn't have asked for a better throw there, and then even nice relay there to get to that ball and get it in quickly. But again, Steve Finley had good speed and he showed it off there, scoring on that.
I'd agree with you there, but the rest of the inning is pretty quiet, unfortunately.
Yeah, once he gets thrown in at third, I guess that's kind of is a rally killer. It was great scoring that first run, but after you get thrown in at third, not much going. So Clemens kind of settles down, gets Mark Grace to ground out the second, and then gets Damian Miller to strike out for a third time in this game, and gets in the strikeout swing.
Yeah, that was his 9th K of the game. Clemens right there. Pretty, again, I'll keep saying it. Pretty good. Seventh inning, the Yankees respond quickly. That lead does not last long. Jeter singles start off the inning. Good old Paul O'Neill singles, back-to-back singles that puts some pressure on Schilling. Fielder's choice by Bernie Williams gets O'Neill out at first, but Tino Martinez, a man heralded in my house for some reason. My dad used to tell me about Tino Martinez all the time. Heralded gets a single, gets the RBI. Let's listen to your favorite announcer, Andrew, Joe Buck, on the call.
Runners at the corners, one out. Martinez with a base hit to right, and the Yankees have tied it. Williams holds at second, and it's 2 on with 1 out as Tino Martinez delivers to tie it 1-1.
Yeah, so the Yankees tie it immediately. Tino Martinez gets on. 2 guys on for the Yankees on first and second, but Posada flies out, and good old Spence man flies out as well. Ends the inning. I also wrote down that our man Steve Finley in center field, incredible defensive outfielder. The Diamondbacks were the best team in, defensively this year. Lot of range, really fast. Catches Spencer's fly out, ends the inning, and gives us a 1-1 ball game. And we're back where we started. It's
I thought that ball was going to drop. I mean, the amount of range he covered on that play was incredible to see, especially not even having to dive or anything for it.
Could you repeat that first part for us, Andrew? You just came in all of a sudden right there for us.
I said his ability to get that ball, that the range he showed there, I thought it was definitely going to drop in for it.
I did too. Really, really impressive there by our man Willie or Finley. Seventh inning comes in. Schilling gets K'd by Clemens. That was his 10th. Apparently, there was a lot of I don't know about drama, but I'll use that for a better or lack of a better phrase. There was a drama going around Schilling's at bat there. The announcers thought that they were going to pinch hit him for this 8th inning coming here, but he stays to hit. 90 pitches. Andrew, do you think Schilling should have stayed in the game? Do you think pinch hitter should have come in?
I honestly think I was okay with the decision to leave him in. He wasn't past the pitch count limit yet, like you said, 90. I think with your, I guess the closer at the time was struggling so far in this series. So I don't think they really trusted to go with anyone in this situation, especially with how dominant Clemens has been against him as well. And the way since it was a pitcher's duel, I think I was okay with them leaving him in here, especially with how well he was throwing to that point. Really only ran into one bad inning.
I definitely agree with you. I would have left Schilling in too, but the announcers were making it a big fuss about it, and I thought I should bring it up for you. By the way, another Emmys update. The lead actor of Will and Grace won an Emmy. So I thought I'd let you know there.
Oh.
Tony Womack singles, but gets caught stealing off of Posada. Posada defensively, I wrote down sucks, but got this throw out. He led the MLB in pass balls, and his caught stealing percentage was like 20%. So I was like, damn, I guess the Yankees just love good hitting catchers that suck at defense, because Jorge Posada and Gary Sanchez, I guess, are the same person now.
I mean, hey, as long as you're hitting the ball, that's all they care about now, right?
Exactly. So after this single by Tony Womack, pitching change comes in. Clemens exits 114 pitches, 6 1/3 inning, 7 hits, 1 run, 10 Ks, tied for the most in Game 7. Any thoughts on Clemens' performance?
I mean, I think it was. Yeah, he ran into some bumps here and there, gave up 7 hits or whatever, but overall, I think it was a masterful performance. I mean, 10 strikeouts and 6 1/3. I mean, so that's 10 out of 19 outs. He's striking out batters. So I think it's just an incredible jobs there. Incredible job by him there. And then, honestly, I get it. He's at 114 pitches, but I was kind of surprised they pulled him there coming off that single.
I was going to ask, too early, too late? Or just right, Andrew, because Fox apparently did polls back then too, and 62% of people believe that Clemens was pulled too soon.
Yeah, I mean, especially with, I mean, how much that, I mean, I guess it was a different game back then, so I don't really know how the whole season played out. Like we said, we were young. But, I mean, it seems like the Yankees kind of only trusted Rivera at their bullpen, and you already used him basically 2 innings. So I think you pretty much know who you're going to in the eighth inning. And I think I was kind of surprised here to see them pull him just because, I mean, looking at the other box scores, I mean, you knew they didn't really trust anyone else in that bullpen.
Well, enters Mike Stanton. The Diamondbacks, like I said, Tony Womack gets caught stealing on a hit and run maybe thing that should have been called. He gets caught out. F3 for Craig Counsell ends the seventh inning and comes into a pretty wild eighth inning.
Yeah, very, very eventful eighth inning. Led off again. We already mentioned Curt Schilling's going to stay in there with the after hitting in the eighth, so he comes in and does not prove the manager's decision to be correct as he gives up a leadoff home run to Alfonso Soriano, and I'll let Joe Buck make the call.
1 run on only 4 hits. Soriano into deep left field. At the wall, Yankees on top 2-1.
And as we said earlier, that is rookie Alfonso Soriano right there. Incredible that he comes up in that moment and hits a home run. That pitch was in the dirt, and he hits that home run. Gives the Yankees a 2-1 lead, and I'm sure at this point, if you're at home, here it is. Yankees get their late hitting home run. Rivera is going to come in because he immediately starts warming up after the home run, and this is it. This is where the Yankees win the World Series.
Yeah, and it was incredible too. Thinking about, I mean, the rookie comes up in this situation, Game 7, big situation, and going back to I think it was the 5th inning I mentioned when he struck out against Schilling, and how bad he looked at bat. But then he bounces back here, works off a couple pitches there to stay alive, fights it off, and then the 5th pitch of the at bat he gets that home run. So just incredible poise there by the rookie to bounce back right away in that at bat and not letting anything get to him there.
Given if the results of this game were different, this would be an at-bat of the game candidate. Still might be, but probably won't win the award. Just to recount this at-bat, strike 93 mile per hour fastball, foul ball at 94. Or no, a strike split 84. Sorry. So he gets 0-2 immediately. Then foul ball, and then that splitter for the home run. 0-2 home run off of Curt Schilling in that spot for a rookie. Incredible.
And like you said, it wasn't even that bad of a pitch. I mean, it was toward the ground there. So Soriano did a nice job getting down with that ball and finding a way to get that one out. I mean, it wasn't like it was an easy pitch to hit.
Yeah, especially it's just crazy. It's crazy. I wrote this down in my notes that this is the game with the 2 best splitters in all of baseball history, probably from these starters. Curt Schilling gives up that home run where everyone's in shock. Brosha strikes out. Justice comes in as a pinch hitter, singles, but is out on a fielder's choice that Derek Jeter hit. Schilling is pulled this inning as well. 7 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs on 9 Ks. Enters Miguel Batista, who was the Game 5 starter, also really, really dominant. One of those guys that we talked about earlier that doesn't really get mentioned because of Schilling and Johnson. But he does well. He comes in and gets his guy out. Jeter's 5-4, as I said, the fielder's choice. And then, Andrew, in a move that I thought that Alex Cora invented last week or whatever, Randy Johnson warms up and comes into this game in the 8th inning. Andrew, you had some words to speak about good old Randy.
I mean, it's incredible. I mean, you can never see that in the game today. I mean, he goes out there and throws 104 pitches the night before in Game 6 in that win to keep the series alive. And then not even like just the next game and like taking a day off or something. The very next day, he comes out and comes into the 8th inning here, and again off a 104 pitch night. It wasn't even like they took him out early or anything. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're probably not going to see that in today's game.
I doubt it. I doubt it. I was gonna say, Andrew, I think I would probably say this one game has some of the best collection of pitching ever. because you've got Kurt Schilling, who will probably be a Hall of Famer next year. Randy Johnson, one of the best pitchers of all time. Rivera, the best closer of all time. And that's just crazy right there. And then Clemens, one of the best.
Yeah, that's Andrew Clemens.
And Clemens, of course. I almost forgot about him. 4. So you got 4 pitchers right there, all Hall of Famers, all probably top 10 pitchers all time right there.
Yeah, absolutely. But Randy Johnson comes in and does his job, gets a fly out to right field, and so does his work, and we go to the bottom of the 8th where the Diamondbacks try to even things up. As you know, like we've already mentioned, they're going up against the best closer in Mariano Rivera. And this is the part of the order you went up if you're Diamondbacks to try to get things going. Is you have Luis Gonzalez, lead things off, but he strikes out. Then you have Matt Williams, who also strikes out, and then Steve Finley comes through again with a single to right field, trying to get things started. But in the end, Danny Batista strikes out to end the inning there. So nothing much going for the Diamondbacks once again, just a single. But I mean, Rivera does his thing and strikes out the side here. Another masterful performance there in this inning.
Some quick notes about the 8th. Emmy update. James Gandolfini won Best Lead Actor in a Drama. If you fancy that, Andrew, and I would like to just remind everyone of how good Rivera was, especially in the postseason. 2-0 record, a .61 ERA. That is a .61, not 6.1. That is .61. 5 saves, 10 games pitched, 14 and 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 2 walks, 11 Ks. 44 outs, I believe that is, Andrew, and only 8 hits.
That's just incredible. I mean, you don't see that in today's game anymore, really. I mean, yeah, you have good postseason performances, but just the way he was able. I mean, no one looked good at the plate.
It's literally just the same pitch, and you just couldn't do anything about it.
You knew what he was throwing, and
I also
still
wrote
had no
down,
chance.
Luis Gonzalez, who will come up to Rivera again very soon in another at-bat. In his first at-bat against Rivera, did not make contact on any pitch except for one, which he broke his bat when he did. So, I'm glad he got that first at-bat out of the way from Rivera. That could have been tough.
And that's what helps sometimes. The second time around, I mean, we say that in the analytics part of the game today, but when you start to face guys the second and third time, it's when everyone says you kind of drop off.
All right. So here comes the 9th inning. Yankees come up. Johnson comes back out the pitch, which is insane. A fly out for Bernie Williams, a 6-3 and a K get Johnson out of the inning. Some random notes that the broadcast has. Series runs, the Diamondbacks outscored the Yankees 34-14 in this series, and it was in a Game 7. Absolutely ridiculous.
That's just insane.
So now we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Diamondbacks are down 2-1. Yankees are 3 outs away from their 4th straight World Series. Good old Mark Grace comes up again. Singles to start off. Second hit. I'm going to go ahead and say GOAT candidate, Mark Grace. Singles. Then Miller comes in for a bunt. But a fielder's choice gets Grace out at second, I believe. An error at some point.
I was just saying that Grace was at second because that was the one they bunted, and Rivera fields it, throws it away. So both Grace and Delic were on.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, so yes, you're right, Andrew. So Miller bunts it, error by Rivera, guy first and second, no outs. At this point, I was like, oh, okay, all right. Jay Bell comes in, pinch hitter, and this is the fielder's choice that gets Grace out. Pretty tough there. A tough look for Bell.
And also on that play, that was the one where Rivera kind of throws it wild, and the guy slides right into Jeter, and Jeter kind of gets shaken up again. I think the trainer came out on this one.
Yeah, he did. I wrote that his knee was hurt. He looked like he torn his ACL, and then 5 seconds later, he was up running around. So Jeter does that. And another great at bat by our man, the Woe Man, as I like to call him, Tony Womack. Down 2-1, 2-2, or down 2-1, 2-2 count, 1 out, comes through huge for the Diamondbacks, as you'll hear right now.
Lead in Game 7, 2-1 in the ninth. 2 on, 1 out, and Womack into right field, a hit. Here comes Cummings. It's tied. Going to third is Bell. Tony Womack delivers. It's 2-2.
The Woe Man ties it up 2-2. Rivera looks shaken. More people have walked on the moon that have than have scored runs against Rivera in the postseason. This is one of them. Tie ball game.
I have a question for you. I know how good he was, but at any point, if you were Joe Torre, would you have thought about taking Rivera out with how? I mean, he was clearly off. Like it wasn't like you gave up a hit here and there. Like he was clearly not himself.
I don't think you can. I mean, he's the best closer of all time and all this stuff. As we said, the bullpen for the Yankees isn't great, so there's no real option that you would feel stupid if you took out Rivera and someone else did that. Is what I would say, at least. What about you, Andrew? Would you take him out?
In the end, no, but I think it would definitely start warming someone up. I mean, especially when he hits not Luis Gonzalez, when he hit
Craig Counsell.
Craig Counsell, yeah, excuse me. He hits in the bases. I mean, I don't know. To me, he was clearly off, and at least a mound visit.
Yeah, I'd agree. Probably, I would have definitely gotten a mound visit in there at some point. But 2 guys on, he hits Craig Counsell to load the bases. Which brings up Luis Gonzalez. This is the at-bat that made his career. This is the at-bat that everyone remembers of this game. Was not much of an at-bat, I'll remind everyone. These big moments don't seem to be long at-bats, is what I've learned. Before we break down this at-bat real fast, I'd like to point out that a lot of Jerry Colangelo in the 9th inning. A lot of shots at Jerry in the end, Andrew.
Absolutely. I mean, what do you expect? He's a part owner.
Very funny. And also, here's a fun fact: when Craig Counsell came up to the mound, or there comes the plate, Craig Counsell scored the game-winning World Series-winning run for the Miami Marlins in 1997, and now here he is a couple of years later. Chance to.
When they said that, it kind of threw me off because if you think about it, the Marlins won 2 World Series in 6 years, in that 97 and then 03 year. Now look at them.
Garbage. But yeah, so Luis Gonzalez comes up, bases loaded, 1 out, foul ball, and then does this. You heard it at the beginning of the show, but hey, let's play it again because I enjoy the call.
Floater, center field. The Diamondbacks are world champions.
Everyone explodes out of the dugout. Arizona goes wild. The floateriest floater hit of all time. The announcer actually mentioned before that Joe Torre bringing the infielders in might be dangerous, and here we are. The Diamondbacks are celebrating a World Series after probably one of the rinky-dinkiest hits of all time.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a normal defense, Derek Jeter, especially Derek Jeter, probably has a chance to catch that ball.
Yeah, especially
but
Derek Jeter.
There's pros and cons to both of it. I mean, if you don't put the infield in and then say it's a weak dribbler and you can't turn 2 and it's over. I mean, so I get bringing the infield in that situation.
It's super tough. So here's some notes I made from the celebration and another audio drop, which is going to be hilarious. I need to clip this part of the audio of this game, and I need this to be a permanent feature on our show. The Diamondbacks at 4 years is the fastest expansion team to win a World Series. Luis Gonzalez and Tony Womack were both noticeably choked up on their bats during their key at bats. So I figured out how to hit Rivera's cutter. By the way, Andrew, it isn't all you have to do is just choke up and you'll be fine. It's fine.
Nice. Hitting Coach Jose at its funnest.
Exactly. And here's what I'll remember most from the celebration. Tony Womack. Tony Womack, the Woman with the cry of the century. Let's hear that back again. Tony Womack laying out the sob, just a cry, doesn't know what he's doing himself, hugging, just yelling and crying. So I'm going to incorporate that somehow in the show, Andrew. But shout out to the Woman, Tony Womack, for a great cry right there.
That is hilarious.
So let's talk about this post all the aftermath of all this. Schilling and good old Randy Johnson won the MVP, World Series MVP of this. Correct decision, yes or no?
I get it, but I think you gotta buckle down and give it to one person. I know you want to try to give it to both, but it's supposed to be an MVP award. I know that both of them were big, but I would have settled down and gave it to one guy. I think I would have gave it to probably Randy Johnson.
I agree with the splitting of the vote, splitting of the World Series MVP. They both pitched incredible. The public vote after the game actually had it 48 to 38% Schilling over Johnson for the MVP. Is Curt Schilling a Hall of Famer, Andrew? Most people are saying that his Hall of Fame year is coming up this next year. There's no one really else on the ballot that has a better case than Schilling. He has said some very controversial things to the media, which is probably the main reason why he's not in already. But Andrew, right now, would you put Curt Schilling in your Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I think I honestly, I remember kind of seeing his name out there. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I think he's going to go in. I don't think it's not like he cheated the game or anything, or got in trouble like Pete Rose did in the sense of kind of gambling on that stuff. So I think in the end, I think he's going to get in. Again, I don't remember exactly what he said or how bad it was, but I would agree that's probably why he's not into this point.
I'd agree with you. All right, we're about to hit the hour mark, Andrew. So let's get into some categories and awards real fast. You ready, Andrew?
I'm ready.
All right, as always, we start off with our GOATs of the game, the greatest players in this game. The award is given to who we believe is the most influential person in the game, the GOAT. Andrew, give me some nominees.
So a couple nominees for me. I think you got to throw obviously Curt Schilling in there, Randy Johnson as well, Mark Grace 3 for 4. Obviously, why do I keep saying Garcia? Luis Gonzalez gets the winning RBI, so obviously he's going to be in there. Tony Womack. I mean, I think that's pretty much it from the Diamondback side of things. Yankees, Alfonso Soriano goes 1 for 3, but he has the big home run to at the time give them the lead. So I think you gotta consider him in that situation. And then Roger Clemens, 10 strikeouts in 6 innings.
I have all those people as well. I had Craig Counsell as well as is an award recipient, I guess, and a nominee as the GOAT award. Andrew, do you have a number one?
Number one, I know Curt Schilling pitched excellent, but in the end, I think you got to give it to the guy with the walk-off. I got to go with Luis Gonzalez.
I'm not going to give it to Luis Gonzalez, or I don't know how we should do this, I should say, actually. I think it should go to Tony Womack. His hit arguably is a better hit. It's a firm hit ball down the line. Ties the game. I think if he had an RBI earlier in the game, he has more of an impact on the game, I believe. Andrew, should we give Luis Gonzalez either at bat or go to the game? This is the real question, because I think the other whoever doesn't win at bat or GOAT should get Tony should get one of those two.
Let's give it to Tony. He had the extra hit. He went 2 for 5 with the RBI, while Gonzalez went 1 for 5 with the RBI. And like you said, it was a big hit. It wasn't like it was just a random hit in the 5th inning. It tie the game, and it was an extra base hit, so Let's give it to Tony.
Shout
You
out,
can.
shout out to the Woe Man, and of course, Andrew. Of course, we have to play it again. We got to. Gotta do it. That might be played for every award recipient now. I don't know. I'll have to think about what I'm gonna.
We'll talk about it.
I'll have to think about it. Scapegoats for the game, Andrew. My two nominees are Rivera. He is the greatest closer of all time, but this is arguably his worst moment. One of his two worst moments, I'd like to say. The walk-off implodes really in the ninth. And my second award nominee is Joe Torre. He has no impact in this game. He just kind of sit back and he's like, you guys just play some baseball. This is not me. Doesn't come in for Rivera. No mound visit, nothing. We said he kind of pulled Clemens early. I wasn't a fan.
No, I agree with you. Honestly, I thought the same thing when I'm watching this game. As much as they went to the pitcher's face, they always went to Joe Torre too. And honestly, every time something happened, whether it was good or bad, he sat there like, "Oh, I've won the last three. This is just going to be maybe my fourth in a row." So no matter what happens in this game, it kind of just happens. No matter and it didn't look like he cared at all what happened in that game.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. He's already got three guys. That'll be the fourth. I'm fine. We said at bat of the game we're giving to good old Luis Gonzalez.
I think it's okay to give it to Tony as well. I mean, if you want to break it down, that was legitimately the better at bat. So I'm okay with giving Tony both.
Well, I feel guilty if we give Luis Gonzalez nothing. He literally hit the walk-off.
That's true. I mean, can we do a co? I mean, they did a co for the MVP.
Well, you just trashed a co. What are you talking about?
Well, no, I'm not saying I'm against it, but it obviously happens. That doesn't mean I have to.
You know what? We'll give GOAT to Luis Gonzalez, and we'll give at bat because the better at bat was Tony Womack.
All I'm saying is essentially when you're splitting up the award, giving one to one and one to the other, that's kind of just going co anyway.
So Andrew, dude, that's the secret sauce. Don't give out the secret sauce. Come on. All right.
Hey, if you're all right.
So Luis Gonzalez, GOAT, at bat of the game goes to the Woe Man, Tony Womack. Joe Torre is the scapegoat. Now my favorite award, the annual inaugural David Freese Career Climax Award. Andrew, I'll give you my nominees first. Tony Womack, Curt Schilling. I'll say the names and we'll debate these real fast. Tony Womack, yes.
Yes.
Randy Johnson. I'm going to say no, but I thought he needed to be mentioned.
Well, I'm trying to think what
I would say his perfect games, the no-hitters, all that stuff. I mean, he wasn't really a big factor in this game. Also, I would say hitting a bird is pretty cool.
Okay. All right, we'll leave Randy Johnson out.
Curt Schilling, I said no.
No. Yeah, great. It's funny. We just shows you what type of career they had that we just said no to both MVPs of the series. But no, I think some of his moments with the Red Sox are probably bigger. Like you said, 04.
The bloody sock and being the leader of the 04 Red Sox is bigger, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Luis Gonzalez.
Yes.
Yes. Baseball in Arizona.
Yes.
I think yes. I don't know. They don't have another World Series, do they?
I don't think so. That's what I was trying to think. That's why I hesitated about it. I don't think they do. So, I mean, I think this has to be their biggest moment.
I would agree. Roger Clemens, I put no.
No.
The core four Yankees. Jeter, Rivera, Posada, Williams.
No. I mean, they had all the World Series. And
coming on, losing the fourth in a row is not your apex moment. I guess winning your third in a row is. But it's pretty good. And I put the New York Evil Empire, I guess brand. The Evil Empire, the Yankees being that team.
Is their apex?
Yeah, the apex of them being just the classic New York Yankees winning all
Yeah.
the time, throwing all this money around, blah blah blah, core four, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I could see it because I mean the amount of times they talk about it and stuff really gets their name out there. So I mean, in terms of publicity and stuff, I think it definitely could be up there.
All right, so who's gonna win the David Freese Award? Andrew, do you have any more nominees?
I think you hit them all. I mean, I don't know what I can't see anyone else having. I mean, you mentioned Tony Womack, right?
Yeah, the Wool Man.
Yeah. So I think you hit them all. Honestly, I don't. Maybe no. I would say maybe Alfonso Soriano. I don't know if he ever had a bigger hit to give his team the lead. And the hitting there, I don't.
I think he
But-
did things on the Cubs that weren't.
Yeah, I agree with you, but he was he'd be the only other guy I'd add, if I'm being honest. So
Fair enough. Let's narrow it down. Who wins the award? Tony Womack, Luis Gonzalez, or we have four, I guess. Tony Womack, Luis Gonzalez, baseball in Arizona, or the New York Yankees Evil Empire.
I'm gonna take out the Yankees.
I guess we got
This is-
Luis Gonzalez. It has to be him. This is his moment. No one knows who Tony Womack is, I guarantee.
No, I agree. I was gonna lean Gonzalez or baseball in Arizona.
Luis Gonzalez,
But
congratulations.
good.
You've won the David Freese Apex Award. Your shirt will be in the mail.
And then
crowd rating, of course.
yeah, let's hear yours first this time.
They're good. I was impressed. I think the white towel thing is kind of lame when everyone's waving that. I'm not a big fan of that, but I'm going to give them a firm 7.
Wait, how can you not be a fan of that? That's one of my favorite things. The white rally towels and
Yes,
everything.
Andrew, because the Phillies are one of the main perpetrators of the white towel.
Yeah, but it's in like every sport. I mean, you go to football. I mean, it's not white, but you got the terrible towel with the Steelers. I mean,
I'm not a fan of that either.
wow, that's surprising. I love seeing that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But
I gave them a 7, Andrew. Your choice, your selection here.
7, I think it's harsh. I give it. Maybe we're up.
Be harsh.
I'll give him a 9.5.
Wow.
I mean, where's the criticism? I mean, just because
I expect better. This is your ecstasy moment.
how could they have been better? How could they have been better?
I don't know. Be louder. I was not impressed. The first number that came into my mind was a 7. Be better. I'm a harsh grader.
All right.
That's all I can say there. Andrew, do you have any final thoughts?
I would say thank you to the Diamondbacks for winning this World Series and ending that Yankees run there. Again, 2 of the greatest pitchers in this game gave us one of the best games in the history of playoffs. I think I said this earlier, but I wish I could have been older to like actually remember this without going back for highlights. And then, man, again, one of the best probably 1-2 punches ever in a rotation between Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling, which you mocked the Phillies were trading for Curt Schilling. Well, I also read once that the Phillies could have had that 1-2 punch if they would have done the Randy Johnson trade that they didn't want to go through with. So.
Why didn't they want to go through with it again, Andrew?
The guys, the Mariners wanted, I think. They didn't want to give up. And
did you know who those people were? Did they say?
Mike Lieberthal, which is, I think it was a 2-time All-Star. Well, I think he was a bad player, but 2-time All-Star. I think he leads the Phillies in home runs for a catcher, and a couple other big catching stats for the Phillies. And then another pitcher I'm blanking on that was okay. I mean, I think he pitched pretty well for the most part, but I think it was back in 93, 94, before my time.
I feel you, Andrew. Well, I don't really know what else to say. Shout out to the Diamondbacks. Like you said, I think you summed it up well. Their uniforms are great in this game, by the way. We'll never forget.
I love these uniforms.
Love the uniforms. Thank you for taking down the Evil Empire. We did not need a 4th straight championship. This would begin. The Yankees really have not been as dominant as they were here, so thank you to that. Andrew, what are we going to do next week?
We're going to change things up and not go through a game. We're going to go to the 1999 Home Run Derby, and what we've heard is, again, we're obviously young as we were talking about this one, but what we've heard is one of the best home run derbies in the history. So we're very excited to study this back and give you guys the breakdown next week.
Oh, Andrew, guess what? We're not just doing 1999, Andrew. We're doing 2005. We're doing 2008.
I thought you meant, okay.
We're doing all of them, Andrew. We're doing all of them in one sitting. And well, guess what? We're doing 2018 with Harper, too. We're giving the people a little dash of everything.
Okay, that sounds good to me. I misunderstood your message then.
Well, there we go. See, we come understanding on the show. I'm glad that we could do so. But yeah, we're gonna do all of them. We're gonna talk about them. We'll try to rank their performances. Huh? You think, Andrew? Right,
that sounds, yeah. Go 1 to, what are we doing, 4? So 1 to 4, best performance.
So you guys have a week to do your watching. Enjoy it. It's a great time. Andrew, it's a pleasure. As always, I can't wait to do this next week with you. Ran a little long, but, hopefully the people stay in and listen. Andrew, where can the people find you?
On Twitter, AJ_Santangelo.
Wow, that's it? You don't have a LinkedIn or other things you want to plug,
I don't have an Instagram. I still don't have that. LinkedIn is just my name, Andrew Santangelo.
Yeah.
And I guess
get the cloud up, everyone.
And then I do a couple other podcasts. So it's you can go to that Twitter, and that's ANYP Phillies podcast on that.
Wow, what a time! I'm excited to hear it. You guys can catch us on Spotify, Apple Music. We'll be here. We do a weekly show. Check out Pub Sports Radio for all different shows. Andrew, I'll see you next time. And as always, have a nice day, Andrew.
You too, man.